Hi, everyone. I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and leadership coach. I'm delighted to have not one, but two friends joining me today. I have Jessie Coan, who is my neighbor here in Massachusetts. She's a brilliant marketer who works with a lot of solopreneurs. And of course, Kelsey Letko, who's been on with me a fair amount, who's in the life coaching space. She's also a coactive coach like myself. And she does some really beautiful programs for recovering what is it? Recovering good girls, recovering people pleasers.
All the things. Good girls, shy girls, people pleasers.
Welcome. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. And I just introduced you, but please introduce yourself the way that you want to be known.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll go first. I'll go for it. I do. I'm a former, I'm going to start over. Ready? Okay. We're going to try it again. I do repeat. It's Friday afternoon where we are anyway. So that's, a little brain dead, but, marketing strategy combined with actionable execution is the best way that I can describe it. I help level up marketing. So Katie, you and I have talked a lot about solopreneurs and entrepreneurs and people who are tired of the DIY and getting to the next level. I also work with a lot of startups and B2B businesses, agencies, all of the things. My background has been working in corporate marketing for years and years and years, and then going out on my own. I was like, it's just more fun. It's different. I needed a new challenge. I wanted to work with a lot of different types of people. So that in itself has been a fun roller coaster. We can get into it if you want, but
we can absolutely go there. And Kelsey. Thank you, Jessie. Hi.
And Jessie, it's nice to learn more about you and meet you.
You too.
So yeah. Who am I? I am a coactive coach. I work more in the life coaching space, and I work mostly with people who are ready to set themselves free from old patterns of behavior, from old situations, from just old ways of being, beliefs, like the cage, if you will, to break free of that and then move forward, designing a life that feels really in alignment to who you are now. So in that process, there's lots of uncovering, what do I actually value when I don't listen to what others tell me to value? And it's kind of a process of remembering who you are and then designing a really kick-ass life around that.
Yeah. Awesome. And you got a heart while you were describing all that. Just want to let you know, someone out there.
I appreciate that.
and just for those of you watching, I am doing this through StreamYard to LinkedIn and YouTube and the Facebook. So if you want to comment and ask a question, please do. Otherwise, we're just going to chat, and you guys are welcome to hang out with us. So Kelsey and Jessie, I would love to hear all three of us say something that went really, really well this week. Because we're all, solopreneurs. We're doing it on our own, and it can feel like you're doing all these amazing things in a vacuum by yourself. Mm-hmm. Should I go first?
Yeah, kick us off.
Yeah.
So, you go first.
So a couple of things that went really well this week. I'm getting booked for events. I think you guys know that I'm doing a virtual speaking tour this year, right? So I have a few events that I've been booked for. I'm really excited about it. It's my signature talk is all about pressure-free profits. Because when you're starting a business and you're trying to sell those high-ticket items, you can feel like the only way to get them sold is by doing those high-pressure sales tactics, which is gross. No one wants that. And then another thing is one of my clients just got 3 more clients this week, and I'm so excited for that. It's just
huge.
I know. Their success is my success. So I'm over the moon for her. So
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
congratulations.
That's really awesome.
Thank you. So what's going on in your world?
Kelsey, you go first this time.
I'll jump in. Sure. So I had kind of a big week in the life of Kelsey. I moved from the Bay Area to San Diego. And so I think, and in that, I took some solid days off really to just focus on creating my new environment, which I don't do that often. So that's actually, I think, my win. That went really, really well, just to be able to unplug, to be really present with my new space. I'm a big believer in cultivating a really lovely space. And I hadn't done it in a while. I'd lived on my boat for 6 years and I have like space and a little office now. Oh man. So it was a pretty big week. So yeah, I think what went really well, now that I'm kind of stepping back and observing it, was taking that time to be really intentional about like, okay, like I got big goals this quarter, but first, like, let's get my foundation settled. And I feel like I did that. And now as a result, I just have like so much more energy going into this quarter and going into just kind of the things that I've got coming up. So it feels like a win to have been able to do that and just kind of settle here in my new space.
Yeah. And I want to underline how you're talking about this, because you're so in your business, and it's really easy for life coaches to just be like, oh, cool, like things are going well, but you're in your quarter. You're treating your business like a business.
Right.
Love
I got
that.
my quarterly goals. It's happening. Yeah. And it was a change for me. I used to be like, whoa, what's going to stick? But it was a big change in being and really treating it like a business and asking my business what she needs. And she needed quarterly goals. So she got them.
Yeah. Love it.
That's
Thank
smart.
you. Thank you. Congratulations.
I want to, and I want to hear more about living on a boat. We can,
that's another conversation. Yeah.
Maybe not today, but maybe, after hours with Katie McManus, Kelsey and Jessie, so I want to, I had a lot of little small wins that were good this week. There were a lot of, nothing super major. I'm in the middle of taking on more for one particular client. So there's been some good movement there. A lot of mine are like solidifying relationships is a good way to describe it. I've got a client that's close to the finish line in terms of launching their new website. There's a lot of components that we need to figure out, but we had a really great working meeting this morning about it. So I'm happy. This is a new business venture for them. And it's just cool to kind of see when it comes together. That's really fun. And honestly, I just got off the phone. For those of you in the listen at me, so Emerson College is the words today. Like this is not. I'm so brain dead right now.
Welcome to Friday, right? Like this is
seriously
Fridays. We're all burned out. We've been talking all week. I get it.
Yeah. It's I went to Emerson College for grad school long-ish time ago, some time ago, but I've been in contact with a lot of my professors. And one of the things that I've really loved doing over the past years, having space to do some mentoring. And that looks like a couple different things. I have 2 interns that are both from the Emerson College undergrad program who are phenomenal. But the one I want to highlight is there's a year-long class that you take called, it's an entrepreneurship class that one of my favorite professors teaches. And so she's brought me in a couple of times to listen to the class's pitches and to do some judging and give some feedback. And there's a couple of students who've reached out to me, and I just got off the phone with one of them, and she has a really unique business idea in a particular space that I know pretty well. I'm not going to share the details here because that's not mine I used to share, but it was just, I just love talking to people like that and being like, tell me, and being like, look, use me as a mentor. Call me, email me. Who can I introduce you to? And I've hooked her up. I happen to know somebody who's pretty senior in their business who started where she started. And I just introduced them. I'm like, I am one of them being like, hey, do you want to mentor someone? Hey, are you okay with being mentored? Let me make this love connection here, So like that's a lot of little wins, a lot of aha moments this week. It's just beautiful weather out. So I am like itching to get off the computer at some point and take the fat dog for a walk wherever she decided to end up. She may bust in here. You've all been warned.
And I know you guys probably can't see the comments, but Austin Afford, who's a friend out of New Mexico, just said words don't always work. So
yeah, today, for real. Hashtag yes.
Well, and I want to underline everything you just said is like, the wins when you're working in your own business is often just feeding back into the community and being generous. And that's actually how you and I met through a networking event.
Yeah. I love to call it the, hey, want to be friends? And it's or, hey, you can just email, hey, you want to have a coffee chat? I'd love to hear about your business.
Yeah.
No expectations, no nothing, no anything. And you know, and then it's like, hey, I like you. Do you like me? Yeah. It's like junior high dating. And like, want to be friends in real life? Sure. You can be friends in real life. You know, let's take this from colleague to, you know, friendship. So it's, yeah,
well,
that's our love story. There you go. Yeah. It's out there in public.
That's our little meet. We used to meet for like walks. We live 2 hours away. We used to meet for walks last spring, social distance with masked.
Nice.
With Massachusetts.
No touching.
No touching, no hugging. Nothing. But it's like, it's so necessary when you work by yourself to have people you can call. Because I know I call both of you when I have like, oh my God, I think I just screwed it up royally. Or, oh my God, something exciting just happened. Or I didn't know how to deal with this problem. And it's honestly, it is a lifeline to me. And I hope it's a lifeline to you guys as well.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's even interesting. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just on the power of community and people who kind of like get what you're going through as you're doing entrepreneur life. My sister is a marketer and she's hosting a sales boot camp, and I'm like, that's what I'm doing. So I signed up for a sales boot camp and we started last night, and it was really cool. It was just this community of, it was all women. That wasn't intentional. It's just who was called, which is really fun to be in a community of badass female entrepreneurs. And just like that power of being connected with so many people who get it and like who get tiny little wins that some folks who aren't on this path really understand. So just to be able to have folks in our net like that just makes such a big difference.
Yeah, 100%.
Totally. The fat dog just busted. She got distracted. The fat dog just busted in here. So she will paw at me at some point for all of your viewing pleasure. You know, it's an interesting thing. To that point, the finding of community, that was the one thing that I struggled coming from a corporate environment, coming from where I had a team of people that I worked with and who worked for me. And having, you know, I am a collaborator. I like to think things out verbally with other people. Surprisingly enough, I can talk sometimes. But it's the idea of coming and being like sitting in this room by myself, you know, with the dog. Like she knows all of the intimate details of everything because there's nobody else to talk to sometimes.
Right.
And so finding those people that you can connect with, and even, you know, Katie, you and I have had various different ways that we tried to structure our time. And, you know, we called it an accountability call, you know, every month.
Into like Monday mornings, like me still waking
big bitch
up.
Session.
Like,
yeah. I'm not awake yet. And I'm like, I don't feel like talking to you. I just want to check my email. But for the few months that we did have it, it was nice because it was needed. It was one of those things where it's like you were going through some stuff.
Yeah.
I'll keep it clean.
Swearing is allowed. Actually, when you swear here, like I'm going to say fuck right now, it auto captions, but it exits out the word. So
really
already
that's cool.
Fine.
Huh. Sweet.
Welcome.
Excellent. Well, when we would talk about some shit, you know, it was like, it's funny. And then at one point you were like, I think I said it. I was like, I love you, but I don't want to talk to you at 9:00 in the morning on Monday anymore. Like, I'm good. And you were like, good, me too.
I know.
And we've actually, since we've canceled those calls, I've talked to you more.
I know. Instead of us just being like, ooh, like I'm busy. Can we reschedule that? Yeah. Well, and it's funny. I think that's actually very symbolic of what happens when you start a business. Is like you set up systems that get you to a certain point and they work up until that point, but then it doesn't really, it's kind of like the safety wheels on a bike. Totally. You know, the training wheels on a bike. It's like, okay, cool. This no longer serves, and getting comfortable with letting it go and saying, hey, I don't want this anymore. Can we stop that?
Mm-hmm.
It's really important.
Totally.
Yeah. I know Kelsey and I early on tried to collaborate, and I think it was because I really felt insecure doing something on my own, and I wanted a buddy. And it never turned into anything.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful practice in creating and seeing what we could design.
And I think in looking back now at where we both were in our businesses at the time, I think it both helped us solidify which direction we wanted to go. And they were very different directions. So it was a really important learning opportunity for both of us to be like, whoa, this is the content I'm really gravitated towards. And it's fine if it doesn't end up in a program together.
Totally. Well, what's funny is that if you look at it, what was it called? It was called something incubator.
Action incubator.
Action incubator.
Yeah.
If you look at the shared document that we have, you can see like where we've taken portions of it and created it again in our programs.
Totally.
So it was such a fertile, creative.
It really was.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, cool. It didn't turn into something. And I think that's the fear when people start a business and like they create partnerships. They're worried about creating partnerships because they're worried that it won't go well.
Mm-hmm.
Here are two beautiful examples of how, okay, it didn't go well, but it didn't go bad. It didn't, the result was not what you anticipated. It was just, okay, cool. It was enough of a boost to both of our confidences that we could go and start our own things.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of it too is I think people, when it comes to that, they don't realize that can spur clarity. You know, what I'm hearing from both of you say is this collaboration that didn't work out actually spurred a lot of good clarity in terms of the directions of your own businesses.
Absolutely.
Which is individually beneficial, but also mutually beneficial because you both know each other's businesses so you can refer.
Yeah. Which we do all the time. It's great.
You know, which is, it's an interesting thing coming, you know, one of the things that I was nervous about coming into, it's driving me crazy that the camera is swapped. Like, you know, the habit, I'm sorry, it's disaster central over here. But, one of the things that I noticed is like coming into the marketing consulting space in particular is crowded, and, it's not competitive. I mean, there are people who are competitive. It is a competitive space. Like, let me just say that outright. Agencies, finding the right person, you know, all of that stuff that goes with it is competitive. But there's one of my favorite calls that I have during the week, during the month. Actually, we do it once a month, is with a group of other fellow consultants. And on Friday mornings, we just get on and chit chat with each other, and we're honest. We ask questions, we bring challenges. Like, it's just kind of grown organically. And some of us do compete for the same people, but we talk about some of the chat. It's like, it's like you found your own little community, even though they're not employees or collaborators or colleagues, but it's like, how do you solve that? Tell me how you got, you know, how did you deal with that particular element for that client? Or do you have a good solution for this? Or what kind of project management software do you guys use? And you can just be like your authentic self too.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Well, and I have my Being Brave call on Fridays, which, you know, if you're watching and you haven't come, it's an awesome place if you're working on your business, just ask for advice. Shameless plug. But what's beautiful is that like there can be two people like in your group, two people who serve the same type of client, but then you're on a call with someone, you're like, this is just not a personality fit for me. You know, not a personality fit, but great project. Let me hand this over to someone who's going to be a better personality fit for.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about just the abundance. Like, it's so easy to get into scarcity mindset when you're starting a business. I'm like, oh my God, there's like 2 clients out there and I need them to be mine. It's like, whoa, there is so many humans on this planet. There are more than enough clients for everyone to go around. And I think once I really recognized that, and just kind of like exhaled into the abundance of things, then their clients were suddenly like, they're everywhere. It's all good. So I think, and it's way more fun to be a coach and not be competing with the people in your space. Like, no, people are drawn to you for you. So yeah, I like that abundance mindset.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing that I think I did in my, like, when you're pitching people, you know, there's pitches and then there's like, for a lot of the solopreneurs, I'm like, let's see if we're a fit. You know, I changed my language with that sales component of it, which is, hey, I get tagged in things on the Facebook all the time, or I do a lot of Squarespace design. And so I'm known for that a little bit in that entrepreneur space. And so when I get tagged, I'll say, hey, let's book a meeting. Here's a link to my calendar. Let's see if we're a fit, which takes that pressure off that you guys are talking about, to see if, like, to the personality wise, there are people who I'm not a fit for. And there are people who I don't want to work with them. And that's okay. But that's where that abundance comes, because I'm like, look, I'm not a fit for you, but so-and-so is a perfect fit for you. Let me hook you up with them. So it's I don't know where my end point is there, but that's, to add on. There you go.
Well, it's funny because I refer people to both of you, because sometimes people want to work with me and they actually need marketing help, or someone, inquires with me because I'm a coach and they actually want a life coach. And I don't really do traditional life coaching. I bastardize the hell out of it with business strategy shit, So I send people both of your ways because that's you shine.
Yeah.
Well, and even like the people that you've sent my way, it's so great because by the time they get to me, the selling is done. It's easy enough to be like, let me tell you about me. Let me show you my work. And they go, oh yeah, good. I'm in. Katie trusts you. It's like, those are some of the best relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When I tease this, I wrote up this like whole little thing that I just made up right on the spot. And I wanted to talk also because, it's not always sunshine and daisies and perfect. So I'd love to just go around, like, what's something that you struggled with this week?
Mm-hmm.
And I can go first.
Yeah, you go first.
So I'm struggling with learning how to run a team, how to utilize other resources and manage, just different humans, in something that is mine. Instead of, I've managed in the past for a company. So I had a set of rules that I was following, and it's different here. And then also time management. I'm having the hardest time with time management right now. I have so many big, juicy projects that I'm working on. And it's hard to find big chunks of time to really dive into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have the opposite problem in terms of I need to stop. That's when you're getting into it, you can spend your whole day in email. I have some, because of the nature of what I do, clients will give me emails for within their businesses. And so you're checking email, you lose the day. And so struggling with time blocking, meeting management, time to actually do work, web design stuff, a couple of these really creative, fun, exciting projects, I don't do until after dinner. Right. Which isn't ideal from a mental health standpoint because you need a chunk. So I struggle with some of that. I struggle, and that leads back into bandwidth. How much bandwidth do I have? Understanding what that looks like, setting the right expectations and stuff like that. That's a big one. It's a pervasive issue in Jessie Coan world.
Yeah.
Learn to say no.
Yeah, that's a big one. For me this week, it was interesting. When I'm really working and in my zone, I don't worry about comparison. But since I wasn't, my thing I struggled with was comparison, and kind of business FOMO, seeing people launch things and having the feeling of I should be, and there's that should. So yeah, for me this week, I struggled. I'm a big believer in the sacred lane, stay in your sacred lane, not to limit yourself, but to do the work you're supposed to do. And I found myself wandering outside of my lane a little bit since I wasn't as in my work as I normally am. And I had to catch myself a few times and go whoa, that's not a behavior that's going to serve you very well. Get back in your lane. So that was a big one for me this week.
Yeah. Yeah. And oh my God, that happens to me too. I see all these other people doing incredible things. They have their ads all set. They're killing it on LinkedIn. They're also on Instagram and also Clubhouse. I've been trying to be on Clubhouse and it's just oh my God, one more thing that I have to do.
I can't do it. I can't. It's such social media. I can't believe I'm going to say this publicly. I hate social media. I hate it. I understand the benefit of it. I understand how it fits in. I understand. I mean, I do it for people. I do it for myself. But to exactly what you were talking about, Kelsey, the FOMO it takes real. It and it oh my God, I run a marketing agency. I have not updated my portfolio online in a year because it takes the backseat to all the client work. I didn't post on Instagram, my personal account, once. The dog does get posted. That's a different animal. But it's all of those things, social media is that it's it just propagates all of these anxiety and negative feelings and comparisons. It is not real life. And I'm saying, I'm coaching myself. Dear Jessie, social media is not real life. It's funny when I sit down in the evening to relax, the last thing I do, is look at social media anymore. Although I do watch TikTok videos because there's a lot of cute dogs. But and Katie sends me lots of TikTok videos. But outside of that, ugh.
Well, it's so funny. That's your perspective. Like mine is like, I can't hate on social media ever again because it has honestly been such a lifeline to me during the pandemic and feeling so alone. Like being able to just tune in and write something that I then get to connect with other humans on.
Yeah.
That's the gold side. Like it's so good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have met either of you if social media didn't exist.
Right. I wouldn't have a business without social media, but it is like, I think it should come with guidelines. Like use this when it serves you. And when you feel yourself sliding down that toxic path, then like, it should have an eject button to like shoot you out of the seat or something. But yeah, totally. I am so grateful for it and need to be mindful of my usage.
Yeah. Well, also that's the benefit of having business BFFs is saying, hey, I'm going into a dark spiral where I'm playing the compare game. Can you pull me out of it for 5 minutes?
Yeah, totally. It's the idea too. I think what's been amazing over the year of 2020, which has unfueled my hatred of social media, is people are forced to be authentic. We're forced in all three of us, you're seeing a little piece of our homes. They're curated, but my dog is literally sleeping on the floor, snoring. You can probably hear her through my earphones. It's things you can't control. You've seen kids. I think about that CNN where that like analyst was on and this little kid. I just love that. Like that's such like a defining moment for how we decide to portray ourselves. And like when you texted me earlier, usually on Friday, I look like a gremlin. Like I don't do, by this point in the day, I'm like full gremlin mode. You were like, want to do a live? I'm like, I look like a human. Sure, I'll do a live. That's good. And it's so, that's the piece that I love about it is you're getting authentic selves more so than we were getting a couple of years ago.
Yeah. I love it. I love what you just said. When Katie texted me, I was literally in therapy. I have virtual therapy. I've always had virtual therapy. I love my therapist, but I have therapy on 1:00 on Fridays. And I was in therapy and like, a past version of me, never in a million years would have rolled from therapy onto a live to put my like physical body in like where someone could see me. Like, no way. But I think 2020, it's just that like authenticity is it's what's up. It's like what we got to do. So it's just life and it's kind of integrating it all. And from therapy to lives, here we are.
Good job, buddy. That's a lot of work.
Thank you.
I just wanna,
some miracle words are coming out of your mouth.
If I were from therapy, my eyes would be all poofy and like.
I took 10. It's cool. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to thank you guys both so much for joining me on this live. I know it was super last minute. Literally, I texted you both within like 10 minutes of this starting. So for those of you in the crowd, like it seems like we haven't prepared. We haven't at all. And I'm actually getting texts right now. Real life is barging in. I have a puppy play date and the puppy's about to show up. So I have to go get my dogs ready so that they're behaving. But this has been lovely.
Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah.
Ladies.
Prepared.
Yeah, thank you.
Or maybe not.
If anyone is interested in touching base with Jessie or Kelsey, if you're looking for marketing for your business, if you are looking for transformation in your life, these are their names. And actually, guys, do you mind wherever we're connected, just popping in a link so people can get in touch with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or tag us and all the things.
Yeah. All the things.
And Kelsey, you and I should chat at some point.
We should chat. I look forward to it.
Sounds good.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and leadership coach, and soon to be player with puppies. I hope you all have a great weekend. That's all. Bye.
Bye.